and it's usually much quicker than I expect it to be. So we may indeed already be live. I don't know. I'm gonna do it.
Okay. We might be live. I don't fucking know.
I've kind of given up on being proficient. I don't know.
Professionalism is for losers.
I mean, everything else is sort of Banana Republic right now. Why shouldn't we be?
You know,
why am I
that's how the cookie crumbles.
Why am I the only one? Oh, no, that was the old feed. That's not the current feed. That's bizarre. Oh, there we are. Okay.
Cool.
I got us now. I think that's the... Yeah. Very Banana Republic. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to hashtag coffee. A little late. Nice to be here with you. I'm Corey Cottrell.
That's interesting.
That's Corey Cottrell. What?
There's like 2 lives going on right now.
Yeah, the other one was from earlier when I went on to tell everybody that we were going to be live.
Okay, I can end that one. Yeah, you just... Yeah, I'll do that right now. You got it.
Yeah.
That's if you don't go in to the YouTube studio and end the stream, it doesn't stop.
Oh, that's good to know. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's how I kept getting caught before all the time.
Right. So you got it?
It's fixed, yeah.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the actual hashtag coffee show. So does that mean that the camera was on the whole time when I was...
No. It stops the feed, like, because the Zoom stops or whatever, right? Or whatever you were using.
It just loops it?
It just stops. It goes black and then stays
weird.
on. It's like...
Okay.
Streaming into the void.
So happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
How are you today?
This is a pandemic still going on. So
yeah. So you had to go
tomorrow.
Out and about, huh?
I had to. Kerry had to take his truck in. It's got dinged or something. So we did that, and I drove him home because the Hertz place where he was supposed to be able to go rent a car just didn't open.
Oh,
they're not going to open because fuck you, people who need rental cars. That's why.
Yeah, I guess that's not an essential service.
Well, and I think that lack of business on their part is probably just not worth staying open, I would imagine.
Well, all the big companies are going to get bailed out, so they can close now. That's
yeah. Yep. That thing you sent me about GM is incredible. I mean, it's not even incredible.
Yeah,
it's normal, but
I want to read that to people. That's why I sent it as a message so I could read it to people.
Probably should.
I was out 7:30, 7:45 this morning, and traffic was substantially light. Like it was noticeably light, like Sunday morning 7 o'clock traffic instead of Monday morning 7 o'clock traffic, which I found interesting and encouraging. Still way too many people out doing things. Exhibit A, if I could share. Let's see. Can I share this? Yeah. So this is a picture from Saturday. You can see a line like midway down the picture. The near field is Duval County, Jacksonville. The far part of the picture is St. Johns County. Guess which county had a beaches are closed order up? So all those people just instead of going to Duval County beaches, went across the county line and went to St. Johns County beaches because that's how we stay safe, right? This checkerboarding problem with some counties instituting changes and some counties not is that's the problem right there.
Just
in a nutshell.
Every time some gun nut tells you that Chicago has shitty gun laws, ipso facto, all gun laws are stupid.
Right.
Just show them that picture.
Right.
Chicago is ringed with gun shows where like guns are falling off the back of trucks.
Yeah.
And that it's the same problem.
Bump your mic gain back just a tiny bit. You're a little hot.
Okay. That's what she said.
No, you're very hot in that respect, but just
I am not. Thank you.
Yeah. So we're stopping people from coming here from New Jersey, New York, and Louisiana, but we're not at all concerned about people cross-contaminating other counties' beaches. I guess that's that's how it's going to be now.
That's how you do that.
Yeah. All right, that's much better. Thank you. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I didn't actually have any distance down to go with the gain, so I just turned it.
These mics are incredibly hot. They are very hot. Mics. Yeah. That's what she said.
Yeah. Okay, my phone is being
Yetis are incredibly hot. That is indeed what she said.
Nailed it.
All right, so I want to pull up
Um,
that message about GM. Let me scroll up a little bit here and pop it open.
yeah, the haranguer in chief was getting on GM's case for being unpatriotic.
Yeah, so this, I don't know who Guy Gordon is. Do you know who Guy Gordon is? You
No,
should
maybe
know. This is the
I don't.
person that
I'll
posted
find out.
this. And I'm just going to read it in its entirety. On Friday, the president insinuated General Motors was acting unpatriotically and was attempting to profiteer from the shortage of life sustaining ventilators. He invoked the Defense Protection Act, ordering them to produce the ventilators. But GM was already far ahead of any other company in moving forward and had, in fact, made the commitment to produce the ventilators at cost with Ventec, a leading ventilator provider. Here are the facts. Wednesday, March 18th, GM chairperson Mary Barra reaches out to the White House chief economic advisor Larry Kudlow and offers GM's manufacturing and engineering capacity to fulfill the need for medical supplies. Sources for that are Axios, General Motors, and the White House. This is all sourced, by the way. This is not somebody's speculation. There are sources for all of these contentions. Friday, March 20th, GM and Ventec, a ventilator manufacturer from the Seattle area, announced they are undertaking a feasibility project to determine whether they can jointly initiate rapidly expanded production. GM and Ventec joint press release. By Monday, March 23rd, GM and Ventec not only proved feasibility, but designated GM's former electronics facility in Kokomo, Indiana, as the clean facility for production. The UAW is asked to begin recruiting volunteers. It's a labor-intensive project that needs as many as 1,000 workers. GM's purchasing chief informs Barra he has commitments of nearly all the suppliers needed for 700 component parts. He is confident the remaining 37 components can be sourced. That is from Geos, Axios, and Reuters. Tuesday, March 24th, Axios and Reuters report GM's incredible progress. Ventec is told to anticipate an announcement from the White House about the impending contract. Ventec is ready to go, but has still not received direction from the feds on how many ventilators it is ordering, making cost quotes per unit more difficult to estimate. Wednesday, March 25th, without explanation, the White House cancels the announcement, and Ventec is told there will be no contract. Late in the evening, Ventec and GM agree to move forward anyway. GM agrees to help clear Ventec's 20,000 unit backorder at cost. Essentially, they agree to build a decade's worth of ventilators in less than 2 months. Thursday, March 26th, New York Times reports White House balks because they are trying to decide between different vendors who they believe can offer lower cost options. Ventec and GM prepare to announce their formal production agreement on Friday. Friday, March 27th, the president threatens in 2 tweets to invoke P, the Defense Production Act, against GM, suggests they should build ventilators at Lordstown, a plant the White House knows full well GM no longer owns. They are also aware much more practical electronics plants was chosen for production. He also insults Mary Barra, a woman, big surprise, who made the initial offer with prompting from no one. Within 90 minutes, Ventec and excuse me. Within 90 minutes, Ventec and GM announce their plans for production. They have hired 1,000 workers, a full shift, and have sourcing to make 200,000 ventilators. They have printed training manuals and intend to start training in the new work week. All of these plans and progress occur well before any implied or actual threat from President Trump. Friday evening, the president announces he is invoking the Defense Production Act. It will not get things done any faster, but does eliminate red tape normally associated with government contracts. His new procurement czar, Pete Navarro, conspiracy theorist, as we all know, suggests many patriotic companies had come forward, but they hit a roadblock with GM. The president says we won't pay double or triple for ventilators, yet GM and Ventec were producing them at cost. Throughout the briefing, it's implied they had difficult discussions with GM. In fact, Ventec is the primary contractor and handled all interactions beyond Barra's original offer. When asked in opening question and answer whether cost and profit were a factor, the president, it was very candid. He doesn't like GM. Quote, it got to be a debate over cost. We don't want to think too much about cost when we're talking about this. This is not about cost. I wasn't happy where General Motors built plants in other locations, like Mexico, over the years, and so I didn't go into it with a very favorable view. I was extremely unhappy with Lordstown, Ohio. They left Lordstown in the middle of an auto boom. Parenthetically, in fact, sales of sedans produced at Lordstown were crashing. Because we had 17 car companies coming in, and then they were leaving one plant in Ohio. I love Ohio, and what happens? They became the story. And frankly, I think that would be a good place to build the ventilators, and we'll see what happens. So I wasn't too thrilled. End quote. New quote. And then we thought we had a deal for 40,000 ventilators, and then it became 6, and price became a big object. But Peter is getting involved. Maybe they'll change their tune. Sadly, the tune has always been the same. GM offered to help, and in less than 10 days, moved heaven and earth to find a location, hire a workforce, source a 700-part piece of technology, spec it out for suppliers, and set employee training in motion. All this to be delivered at a cost that could have been pinned down better had the government instructed how many they needed. Maximum production for Ventec is 200 ventilators per month. GM was offering to build 100 times that many in a matter of a few months, needing less than a month for retooling and training. That is nothing short of incredible. Their thanks was a politically motivated shaming in a nationally televised White House briefing. GM was patriotic. GM was all-American. They were not profit. In fact, they may lose business because of the presidential diatribe. I wonder how many other companies are rethinking their willingness to step up as a result. But on Monday, GM will start making masks in Warren and begin training in Kokomo.
So what you're saying is that Trump is handling this like really well.
Yeah, I mean FDR level.
100%. Like that. Like he's just like being a strong leader, and
yeah,
and none of this is his fault for sure. Right. Yeah, it's funny. Like I heard on the news this morning, Fauci saying like, hey, if we can keep it down to 100, or somebody was saying, if we can keep it down to 100 to 200,000 deaths, that'd be great. And now shithead is calling that a win. Like, you heard about it in middle of January.
Yeah.
Like we could be on South Korea's track right now, keeping the deaths under 1,000. That is a thing that we could have done, but nope.
Donovan Meter, hey y'all, sorry so late. I was on the phone with someone who has to travel for work as a contractor to a major retailer. They were given a letter proclaiming them essential. A person builds sales displays in stores. That's essential right now.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Donna said the retailer is abusing the definition of essential. I think that is a very fair statement. This contractor is preparing for eventual store remodels. God forbid they delay remodels until after the crisis. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that everyone is having to struggle with now, is that you're supposed to be fucking staying the fuck home. That's just what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
But it could cost, people their businesses in a very real way. Obviously, probably not if they're not remodeling, which is a little ridiculous, but
yeah,
it's pretty dumb.
Yeah. I'm looking for something real quick.
Yeah. Michelle Flood and Good Morning said today we're on track to pass the deaths on 9/11.
Yep.
Yeah, this is like a tiny stepping stone on a 200-foot or 200 staircase. That I can't English very good. I need more coffee. Anyway, yeah, it's bad now. It's just going to get way worse.
Yeah. By the way, I said his fictional name, Pete Navarro, a conspiracy theorist. No, it's much more sinister and weird than that. A publishing company plans to add an advisory note to future copies of a book written by White House advisor Pete Navarro after it was revealed that Navarro fabricated one of the people he quoted. The character Ron Vara appears in Navarro's 2011 book Death by China, offering dire warnings about Chinese imports. Only the Chinese can turn a leather sofa into an acid bath, a baby crib into a lethal weapon, and a cell phone battery into heart-piercing shrapnel, Vara is quoted as saying. He's false. He's not a real human being. And he quoted him in his book as if he were real. And the problem with that is Donald Trump takes chapter and verse from that book when he talks about China. He's using this fictional characterization of China by one of his advisors as a policy setting guideline set for how to deal with China. That's what's happening. That's who our czar, our procurement czar is a guy that makes people up and fucking lies about his business acumen and knowledge.
You want the good news? Wasn't it like 72 hours that we were at 100,000? Like 2 days, basically, maybe a little bit more.
I don't know.
I think it was.
Uh-huh.
Because we're at 144,000 now. We'll pass 150, 160 today, which is fun. That's the thing. Like, it takes a while to get to 100,000, and then like it takes 3 to 4 days. That's what doubling means, right? Like, we're getting a crash course in what an exponential curve feels like once
Right.
you pass through the knee of the curve. And again, like the automation thing, it's going to take 3 years to go through the knee of the curve, so it's a little bit slower, but it's still going to do the same thing. Yesterday we had 362 deaths, which means that within 48 hours we're going to be losing more people every day than Italy.
Yeah,
and then it's going to get bad, right? Like that's still, because it's, per capita, that's still a lot less. As an example, Italy's right now losing 178 people per million per day. We're only at 8 because our hospitals aren't overrun yet, but in many cities they will be, right?
Right.
So, you can potentially times that by, 25 or more.
Right. People that don't want to go are being told, this is Donna Van Meter again about her friend that's a contractor, told they will be put on a leave of absence, not laid off, not fired. So they can't file for unemployment, right? The company would have to pay part of that if they were laid off or fired. So the company is just going to put them on leave of absence and not pay them. Awesome. That's awesome. That, by the way, goes against all the advice that we've been hearing about what businesses should do. Mark Cuban was up today saying, no, listen, apply for that assistance. Don't fire your employees, but apply for the assistance right away so you can continue to pay them. So there is a program in place for businesses that want to retain their employees, and they're actually rewarded for keeping their employees on the books.
Yep.
Not without putting them on a leave of absence, just paying them to stay the fuck home, which is,
And honestly, if you get on that program, the loan that you get, right? I was looking at some of the details this morning. It actually covers all sorts of shit, right? So basically, you get $1 million loan as a company. Your lease is, potentially exempt, like for all the stuff that you would have to pay back. You don't have to pay back anything you spend on leases. You don't have to pay back anything you spend on regular, labor costs or whatever. There's like 6 or 7 different other things, and it really became really, really clear. You know how many people who are living in a house are getting their lease forgiven right now? 0.
Right.
But if your company right now, you can get $1 million loan at 0 interest, right? And as long as you spend it on things like lease and employees and shit like that, totally fine. We invented this money out of whole cloth. Here, people take it to maintain the order. Like, I'm now utterly convinced that's what this is. They don't want regular people to have any agency at all, because if they do, then all of this breaks down.
They can leverage labor demands when things get back to normal.
Fucking A. They can actually be, demanding a little bit of dignity, but nope.
So Corey and I spent some time Saturday morning trading links back and forth about, one of them was a tweet from a landlord in, I believe, Harris County, which would be Houston, Texas, saying that every single one of his apartment buildings tenants had refused to pay rent. They had signed a document saying they weren't going to pay rent. Can they even do this? Is this legal? That's a tenant strike. There was a riot in Newburgh, New York, over the weekend that had to do with a fatal shooting of an African-American community member earlier in the day. Police were having a hard time responding because so many of them were out sick. I got to tell you, things feel like a bit like coming unwound. There was talk that there was going to be a huge Instacart shopper strike today. People were not going to go to work because of the unsanitary, unsafe working conditions. I expect that we're going to see more of that. I think people are scared and well motivated for direct action right now in a way they haven't been in the last 20, 30, 40 years. But when we out here in white America ask ourselves, how come we see riots in African-American communities? Guess what? The things that you're experiencing now are things that those communities, marginalized communities, have been experiencing for decades. And that's why they're out in the streets and we haven't been, because we've been comfortable enough not to have to get out into the streets. And I think that may be changing for a lot of folks right now in non-ethnic neighborhoods. Yeah. Saw a blurb this morning, Michael Silvestri, that tenants in Publix plazas would have their rent temporarily suspended. Anybody else seeing this? I don't know. I had not heard that. That's interesting. Michelle Flood. Hey, Michelle, nice to see you. Lindsey Graham is against the stimulus to citizens because he didn't want citizens to get used to making more money monthly via stimulus than their jobs. What fucking bullshit. Rick
Yeah.
Scott, by the way, also banging that drum. We can't make it too
Yeah.
attractive for people to stay home. Yeah. Yeah.
They suck a lot.
The problem with delaying payments, Donna Van Meter reminds us, like from the power company or your landlord, is that the minute the crisis is over, all monies owed are due. And that's true. And you could end up just being evicted the day after the crisis ends, despite the fact that there are suspensions of
Yeah,
eviction
that's
in place.
incredibly insane.
Yep. Yeah. Read that about Publix this morning too. How many? Okay, here's the question though: how many shopping plazas where there are Publix stores are owned by Publix? Is that a common thing? It used to be that they lease space like everybody else. Do they now are they now building whole shopping plazas
I don't
around
know.
Publix stores? That's a new thing to me if it's true. They generally lease from a private company like Sembler is a big provider of commercial retail space. We were in Sembler shopping centers a couple of times when we had the insurance business. So I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know. What else is new, Corey?
I mean, I don't know. I left my house for a minute today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Here we go. Tampa megachurch crowded with worshipers despite social distancing orders. Yeah, a few hundred people. He said the filtration system in the church will zap those germs at like 100 miles an hour. No virus can survive our air conditioning equipment. So they live streamed it and had people in the church anyway. So they're capable of live streaming and did nothing to discourage their people from showing up. In fact, encouraged them to come to church.
I wish it was only them that would die.
I mean, yeah, that would be in a fair world. They wouldn't be leaving there to go get takeout from Dunkin' Donuts or wherever else.
It's funny, man. This brings into stark relief so much of the arguments we have all the time. The emergency that everyone is having now. Oh, suddenly taking care of everyone's healthcare seems like it's a good idea. It was just as good of an idea 2 weeks ago.
And it was an emergency for millions of Americans.
That's exactly it.
Just not
none of the ones
millions.
you could see.
Right.
Right. And like economically, like people are like, no, you can just change jobs. You can pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You totally have any agency. No, you fucking don't. No, you don't.
Right.
And when it push comes to shove, and people are literally dying, and you're being ordered to stay home, they give you enough to cover a couple of weeks worth of cost on
Interesting.
average.
Good catch, Michelle. She says, I'm pretty sure Publix owns them and has owned them. When I was a trainer, that was something we taught. That it's why we grew so fast and why they and as fast as they did, charging rents to offset cost of new stores. I didn't know that. I did not know that Publix owns the centers that they inhabit. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think it lets you leverage a lot more stuff too, because you have more assets in the books.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah, there you go.
Thanks for that. I was
not aware of that.
Yep, me either. Hey, we learned something today, so it's not a total loss, right?
Yay!
Where are we at now in the state of Florida? We are at 4,950 cases, almost to 5,000 today.
So
60 deaths.
In 15 days, we will have as many cases in Florida as we currently have in the United States. So there's your morning pep talk.
Yeah, I'm gonna share up the growth graph here, which is okay. You go back to March 13th.
Oh, hey, March 13th. Wasn't that when this was still a hoax and it was all going to go back to normal in 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah. So you can see that the growth has been pretty steady curve. With a couple, I think those are weird reporting days. Like the 23rd may have been a day when there weren't enough tests to go around.
You're gonna have bumps in the data like that for all sorts of reasons.
By the way, this is from the Department of Health. This is their official, the Florida Department of Health official website. Be careful because some of the big tracking websites are actually spam-filled scams. So stick with ones that have a .gov .gov web domain if you can. Ones that represent official state positions or national positions on this. Pasco County, we are at 38 cases, 7 hospitalizations, 2 deaths, ages ranging from 18 to 75. Slightly weighted towards women. Women seem to be getting sick or get recognized as sick faster than men because men tend to not go to the doctor.
Yeah, I think that the global rates is that guys are getting sick and dying a lot faster than women. So I'm sure that'll smooth out as well.
Yeah. So can we talk for a minute about something good?
I don't know. Can we?
I found something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Um, Chef Jose Andre. Do you know about Chef Jose?
No.
Okay. Well, if you had ever been a watcher of the Anthony Bourdain shows, you would probably know about him. He is a chef from Spain who is an immigrant to America. He's the guy that went to Puerto Rico after Maria and fed thousands, tens of thousands of people for weeks on end.
Okay.
Did
I
the same
do
in the
recall that.
Bahamas. He is now all over the coronavirus response. And one of the first things they did was they went to San Francisco and set up a kitchen on the dock where that cruise ship was and started forklifting meals for the ship crew and passengers onto the deck of the ship so that they could have good food right away. And he's sort of mobilized his entire restaurant chain and is now hiring cooks and chefs from other restaurants that have had to close their doors to provide meals for first responders, for people that are waiting for treatment all over the place. Nashville, San Francisco, New York. He's all over the place. Chef Andre has been he got nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize last year. A chef got nominated for the Nobel Prize last year. How cool is that?
That is pretty cool.
That's a good story. That's a good story. Yeah, I like that one. What else? What else is new? What do you want to talk about? What's going on? What's happening?
Yeah, I was just rolling through Twitter to see if I could see anything. I can't really see anything that is out of the ordinary.
We need our governor to shut down our fucking state right now.
Yeah, well, here's what we know.
Everything down.
He's not going to shut it down until it's too fucking late.
Yeah.
Like, we know this. He's a Trumpin, right? So like the when hospitals in Miami are overfilled, he's going to ignore it because there's a lot of Democrats in Miami. When hospitals in Orlando and Tampa and everywhere in rural places around Florida are starting to scream that they're close to running out all at the same time, then he's going to shut down the whole state, and he will not do it before then.
Orlando and Tampa are blue also.
That's why I added all the rural things as well.
Okay. Yeah. I think this is all about money for him, or paralyzing inability to be a leader. One of the two, or both.
Donors.
Yeah.
Well, and he needs to live up to Daddy's example. Yeah, and it's cool. It's only going to cost tens of thousands of lives, right? So, like, you know, Daddy still likes you and appreciates you and speaks highly of you and sends you all the things that you say that you need, you know, or you save 10,000 lives. I mean, really, what else is he going to do?
Right.
Right.
Sherry's asking, does anyone know anything about DeSantis increasing SNAP benefits for a short time? I saw it in a headline, but couldn't find any real info. I hope that's true. I will be able to tell you more on the 5th because that's when my roommate's SNAP benefits arrive. So we may know more on the 5th of April, but don't know anything about that just yet. Thinning out of the elderly population. Yeah, Mike, that's an interesting concept because that's primarily who votes Republican in our state. That's their strongest demographic is people over 65 in Florida. And you know, I'm horrified that we're making some sort of calculation here that the elderly population is willing, is ready to die for the benefit of the economy. What the fuck is wrong with us? That's not how my mom feels. I'll tell you that right now. I'm 55. It's sure as shit not how I feel.
Greg?
Yeah.
Families of 4 who were receiving $449 per month will now receive $509. Okay.
Wow.
And I think that's it.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's our governor defining what a family is. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. If you have one kid, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And if you don't have kids, then right. You know, it's just eat less, dummy.
Yeah. Poor people are used to that, by the way. That's we've been shown if we're not married and have traditional families, we don't fucking matter. So
cool.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know, Bubble Viz. I'm not. I mean, I think we're going to find out that a lot of young fit people are going to die from this too. Not, I mean, yes, it's true there are comorbidity risks, but let's not hang all this on fat people. Let's not do that because that allows young people to sort of avoid thinking that they're vulnerable or could end up dead. And we've been shown they obviously don't give a shit about anybody else's well-being. That's why they flock to Florida beaches during spring break. So yeah. I'm thankful my parents are gone and are not here to see this. Boy, you know, once in a while, Michael, I have that feeling about my dad. And it hurts my heart to say it, but I was glad he wasn't around on 9/11. I'm kind of glad he's not here to see all this. Jareen, how are everyone's allergies doing? Growth here is going crazy and making gauging our wellness a bit confusing in Oklahoma. It's been pretty polleny here for a while, and I've been a little sniffly from it. You can probably hear it in my voice now, but I don't know. It's a different kind of symptomology, so I haven't had any problems where I'm feeling like maybe I'm getting sick. But I have been a little bit red eyed from pollen here in Central Florida. But it's full on summer here already. It's in the mid 80s to upper 80s every day. Which, by the way, more good news. Don't be surprised if we have early pop up tropical depressions and tropical storms this season because the Gulf is already well above its normal temperature. Yep.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay.
We're just not full of good news today. Yes.
I gotta send you this to share with the fam.
Okay. Oh God. Hey, the stock market's up 417 points.
Yeah. That'll last. Don't even worry about that. That for sure is just gonna go right back up. Yes, this is sarcasm.
Okay. It's a tweet. Oh wow. This would be their new cover, I guess.
Yep.
Okay. Here it comes. I'm not crying. You're crying. That's the New Yorker cover.
Yep. Hey, apparently they're stealing gloves and masks, Greg.
Oh man. I'm not prone to violence. But boy.
I mean, it'd be an interesting way to find out if he has balls to kick him in them. Just to see. I mean, that's just a scientific experiment. Yeah, the president's a piece of shit. Like that's his thing. So that's fun.
Legacy. He's building his legacy.
Yeah.
So we can.
What's really fucked up is more than half of America thinks he's doing a good job.
I think that's maybe a reflexive thing that people are only catching a 10-second soundbite.
Maybe, but like, what 10-second soundbite?
Well, the good news is now a lot more people are home to watch the full thing unravel. So maybe,
I guess
we'll see a reflection of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guess like even like Bush's approval rating went up to like 90% or some fucking ridiculous thing after 9/11. So I guess like, you know, if there was supposedly going to be a crisis bump and he got 2%, like,
yeah.
Okay.
Hey, you know, I posted a thing this morning. I think I posted it to the So Local page. It's a picture of George W. Bush standing in the rubble at World Trade with a megaphone. And it basically says, here's a guy standing in the rubble in a city that didn't vote for him, in the middle of a state that didn't vote for him, saying he was about to mobilize the full power of the entire United States economy to rescue New York, to send help immediately to the people in Shanksville, Pennsylvania that were affected by that crash, to immediately, you know, he didn't ask for approval from those governors or mayors before he did so. And I hate George W. Bush, not a fan. But the truth is, he understood his responsibility in a way that this president doesn't or can't or won't. That his responsibility is to all Americans, not only the ones that are fucking nice to him. Fuck that noise. What a fucking idiot. Oh. I usually let Corey do all the sweary finger pointy shit, but boy, I'm feeling it this morning.
Yeah.
And I'm just so disgusted with everybody standing there back clapping him, telling him what a great job the president is doing. Nope. And it's going to be evident soon enough. Now we're
Yeah,
in
well,
a
he's
moment right
already
now where 2 weeks ago people were calling us conspiracy theorist idiots who hated the president, and this was all a hoax, right? So what's that look like 4 weeks down the road when people's friends are
he's
dying?
they've already shifted. Like Trump himself has already shifted. And people in this country who voted for Trump and still support him are, I'm sorry, so unbelievably fucking stupid that this is just the new reality today.
That
It
he
was a
never
hoax
said it
two
was a
weeks.
hoax.
It was a hoax 2 weeks ago, and now he's totally taking this completely, totally seriously. And he's going to keep deaths, Greg, down to a couple 100,000. They could have been 2 million. And that's going to be what they say. And worse yet, it's going to be what they think.
Right.
And I mean, we're going to keep reminding him, hey, you know when he could have done something in January and didn't? He could have saved 200,000 lives, but he didn't. And honestly, like, I don't think it's going to be stuck to 200,000. I think it's going to be way more. But that won't matter because he gets to position himself with the bully pulpit as a fucking hero.
Yeah. Well, here's to not letting him get away with that.
If we can.
Yeah.
I mean, so SpaceX moved one of their BFRs to the launching place.
Corn silos. Everybody.
Yeah, one of their.
You
Yeah,
didn't
one of
put
their
any
silos.
explanation on that picture, and some people thought it was
I
corn
know.
silos or something.
That's true. Dan Callahan
for the quarantine. Clearly for the quarantine.
For the. Yeah.
That's a thing, by
Anyway.
the way, that's going around. People are calling it quarantine.
I don't care what they're calling it.
Hey, the chocolate ration was increased to 20 grams this week.
What?
Wait, there's chocolate rationing?
Yeah. How do we,
Don't fucking scare me,
what?
Andy. Nope, didn't do anything, but he did help in January, but did help his buds make money in the stock market because of the virus. Yeah. I have a feeling any holdup there is in making ventilators is so he can give some buddy contract to somebody that donated to his campaign. I have no doubt that that's happening.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. Zoe said Trump also said he'd been tested and will be tested, then asked if anyone noticed him sniffing, then he sniffed. True story. Now, granted, that the sniffing could absolutely be from a viral infection. I think it's a lot more likely that it's just the fact that he snorted Adderall before getting up to talk to his throngs.
Right.
Yeah, Boba said can't wait for SpaceX to test SN3, which I think they put on the pad for pressure.
Interesting.
Hopefully it doesn't, blow up.
Oh, okay. That's a reference to Orwell and Trump's followers believing whatever it is he last said.
Oh,
yeah.
Well played. I feel like we should be smart enough to have gotten that, Greg. What a fail. This show's terrible.
We'd be all up on our Orwell and other references, apocalyptic references right now. I've been called too literary before by a bookseller. There is no such thing as too literary.
That's not a thing,
Beals.
Andrew. Thanks for bringing the knowledge. That's not a thing on this show. We're just gonna need a little hand holding in that department, maybe.
I don't know. Did you see my live in large picture that I posted yesterday? I found a 6-pack of Charmin.
Yes, I did see that.
They're keeping it behind the counter at my local store.
Nice.
Hey, buddy, do you want some toilet paper?
It's literally really?
That's awesome. Yeah. She says, I don't know if you're looking for any toilet paper. Yeah, so she had it behind the counter for me.
That's awesome. Like just for regulars or whatever?
Yeah, apparently I'm special. I'm special. So yeah, I paid convenience store prices for it, but still, we have a 6-pack of Charmin. So we're like,
yeah, you didn't pay $100 for it.
I know. I went home yesterday. I came home yesterday with Charmin toilet paper and KFC, and I'm like, this is the best hunter gatherer in town right here. I deserve the gold medal for hunter gathering.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. Well, there you go.
Boy. Yeah. So we're gonna continue to do our thing. The social distancing, social hour thing has been tough to coordinate because Corey's kind of on a weird schedule. I'm on a weird schedule. Everything is weird. We're home. Everybody's home. So we'll just do that when we feel like we have something we want to chit chat about.
Yeah.
We'll be doing those on Facebook, not here on YouTube. We do appreciate all of you that are watching our YouTube stream. Please give it a like and a share if you'd be so kind, back to your social media platform of choice, because that helps and gets us where we got to go. Yeah.
Okay. So I started watching. I watched Ozarks basically yesterday.
Yes.
The season 3 was very good. I predicted the ending, but still made a large noise when it happened, which is
Okay.
fun.
I haven't
So
even started
so
season 3, so don't.
enjoy that. No, it's they managed to keep the tension going pretty well, I think. But I started watching. I've been meaning to watch the Clone Wars because I know the last season just came out, and Ashoka Tano is freaking awesome, and I haven't just done it in a while. What I didn't notice is how good the freaking cartoon is. Like, 'cause
Really?
it's a cartoon,
I've
but
never
it's
watched it.
deeply political. Like I'm in season 3, and it's basically like follow the Roman Republic. America, please take a look at yourself. You're fucking losing at everything
Nice.
in this cartoon, right? Which is what what's his face who made Star Wars has always been doing, right?
Right.
You know, the Vietnam War was basically Star Wars for crying out loud. But one spot I went outside and told Carrie about because Carrie's like, I don't want to watch cartoons or whatever. I was like, okay, I get it. But one of the Sith apprentices is like going in there and just like, you know, throws this poor stormtrooper clone up against the wall and is doing the force choke thing on or whatever, and then slowly drags him onto her fucking lightsaber and then just smooches him and lets him fall down on the ground.
Oh my god.
It's really fucked up. It's like, what the hell? Disney cartoon? Like, it's
Wow.
amazing. Yeah, it was really good.
Nice.
Anyway, so I'm sort of
Check that out.
that's what I'm on. I watched like the first half hour of Tiger King, and I'm like, I don't get it.
I'm not that interested.
Yeah,
First of all, I think that show may be
because we
especially
live in
thrilling for
Florida.
people that have never lived in Florida,
Nailed it.
you know, or another redneck state, because I understand a lot of it takes place elsewhere. But yeah, no.
It's just Wednesday for Floridians.
Yeah. So this woman's is her name Gaskins or Baskins?
I don't know.
The tiger lady. If it's Gaskins, that's interesting because there used to be like a Cypress Knee Museum down in the Everglades. I'm wondering if she's related to that family. Bubble Viz, I finished watching Picard and it's a boomer gut mensch wet dream.
I don't know what that means, but I like Picard, and I can't watch it until I get back home now. I only have till like the last show. Casey, what's Ozark's about?
Oh, yeah.
It's basically like a guy starts fixing the books and starts kind of laundering money, and then it goes way farther downhill from there and never stops going downhill.
Yeah, he runs with his family to the Ozarks, to Lake of the Ozarks, to try and hide from the cartel whose money he's been laundering. His partner was more responsible for skimming.
Yeah.
And they try to build a life there and make one deal with one devil after another for the entirety of 3 seasons. Jason really, Bateman and Laura Linney.
Yeah.
Outstanding cast.
Like, they should have just called it Faustian Bargain over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's a great show.
But I think it's really well done.
Yeah. Tiger Kings is in Oklahoma. Yeah. Also, I've got a connection down here. So yeah. I don't know. I'm not a reality show kind of person at all. So it doesn't.
We're living it. Why would we want to?
I'm real busy with Westworld too right now. I'm on season 3 of the new season of Westworld.
Did you start watching Devs? I think Devs is on Hulu.
No, I don't have Hulu currently.
Oh, okay. Find out how to get it.
Okay.
Or maybe DL it, because basically in the first episode you find out that they create a quantum computer. Remember how like the number of times we've talked about quantum computers, and if you have like even like 20 to 30 working bits, that's basically almost as powerful as all the computers known to man.
You told me about this show.
Yeah. So the kid asks the guy who created it, like, how many active bits do you have? And he said, honestly, the number wouldn't even make sense. So like that to me was like, okay, I'm in, because like that's more computing power than it would take to process the known position of every electron in the universe by a lot.
Right.
So like simulation theory is fully on the table, and then things get super weird, right? So yeah, it's sort of a murder mystery besides, but it's clear that it's made by the Ex Machina guys.
Right. Oh, well, that's a great movie. I love that movie.
Yeah,
love that movie.
You can tell it's got that same sort of vibe and smarty pantsiness to it.
See, I like sci-fi movies that don't necessarily go 1,000 miles an hour with explosions. I like sci-fi that, that moves in a stately pace. That's why Blade Runner is the greatest sci-fi film of all time. So, yeah, there's that.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
All right.
I like them all.
Why don't we wrap this up and go watch some stately sci-fi? something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if everybody that's in the thread saw this today, but Jen Rakita made me a Sasquatch.
Yeah,
The
she
sign says just keeping it real.
which is perfect, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said she's sending me a present, but I'm only allowed to open it on the show, which
I know what it is.
which
I'm
I
so excited.
which I love.
I'm so excited.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I'll be the first mail I get at the bunker. So that's
yeah.
fun.
I'm excited about that. I can't wait. Yeah. So there we go.
Yes. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. We'll be back, Wednesday, unless we find something more fun to talk about.
Yeah, and we might do the social hour thing later today if Corey's in the mood for it. Maybe he'll come on and play some guitar for us. That could happen.
That's possible.
He's got an EP out that you can buy.
Oh yeah,
some amazing little instrumental jams.
I'll throw the link up on Facebook again. Any proceeds I get from that are going to people that need to buy food and toilet paper. So it's not for me. And you can get, it's like $3. It's like $1 a song. I just wanted to make some cost on it. By the way, anybody who donates at my PayPal gets a copy of it as well, if that's easier for you. So we can do that too.
Beautiful.
Yep.
All right, guys. Yeah, now we've started a conversation about great sci-fi movies. I think like the ones I would put in the pantheon, Solaris is really good. 72 Solaris. But Dune was too. I don't know. Dune didn't live up to what I hoped for from that. But I think that might have been because it's a thing that would have to be told like over an 8-series HBO miniseries kind of thing.
Well, do you remember the miniseries that came out
of Dune?
Yeah,
I do not.
It's like one of the bridges was in it.
Huh.
And it was in the 90s, so it wasn't early aughts. So it wasn't great, but it was definitely better than the movie.
Interesting. I'll have to check that out.
And yeah, because I think it was 8 episodes on that. Aren't they supposed to be redoing that right now?
Yeah, that's what I'm told. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it as a show or a movie? Because I hope it's not a movie.
The one one of the recent sci-fi movies that I just absolutely adore was Sunshine, about the team that's going to reignite the sun using a giant nuclear device.
Yes.
Oh wow, that it got a little weird and monstery at the very last, but it's such a beautiful film. Just extraordinarily pretty film. I really like that. I like 28 Days Later. I did not like 28 Weeks Later. So I tend to like sci-fi that has sort of a slow kind of pacing to it. I don't know. I don't know. I like quality
stuff. We don't want you to get too excited.
The Martian.
The Martian was just great.
That's becoming one of those movies. Anytime I see it on, I will watch it.
Are you caught up on The Expanse?
Yes.
Yeah, that's another good one. And really, for like scientific accuracy, they get so much of that. Good. They get so much of that right.
Yeah. Jareen, thank you for the fest on Saturday. Greg. Well, it didn't go as well as I hoped it would go, and we're making some iteration changes to make it better the next time. But that's the good news is we're gonna a couple of 3 weeks down the road we're gonna try and do it again. Make it simpler, make it more manageable. There was a big technical thing I tried to bite off and chew, and I wasn't up to it. So we're gonna make some changes to make it easier.
I wonder if I could convince Dave and Julie to do like an acoustic set with me where we do a song each, like back and forth.
Right.
That's the thing. It's got to be acoustic. Like the second you try and do a band, it's not going to work.
Yeah. Is there any way to do like a for you guys to do a Zoom stream and play together? Is that possible? No.
Too much lag.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I think about that kind of thing all the time. Just with the amount of lag that there is, it would be weird.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to do it for hashtag coffee for today. We're going to go drink coffee and isolate.
Yep.
Last year that made me antisocial. This year it makes me a national hero.
Yeah, Yep. This is what our generation is being
the
called.
Greatest generation. Here we are.
Yeah.
All right, guys, stay the fucking home. We love you very much. Sasquatch is real, and
Greg Sasquatch is real.
Yeah, it's true. Love you guys.